Hello, all. Thank you for joining us again on the Almost Brothers podcast. Hey, will you do us a favor? If this podcast has meant something to you and encouraged you, will you consider becoming a monthly supporter? You could do $3, $5, $8, or $10 a month. What this does is this helps financially support the podcast so that we can continue to put out content and help better serve you. So if you would, down in the show notes, you can click the link, support, and become a monthly member. We love you. New episode coming your way. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Almost Brothers podcast with Michael.
Jeremiah.
Good to see you. Good to hear you today.
Man,
how's everything going?
Here.
Man, you're looking good.
Man, I've been busy.
You got a little bit of a tan.
I did. I was at the lake this weekend.
I like it, man. Yeah. I dig it. And today we have a couple special guests.
We do.
You want to introduce?
Oh, yes. First up, we have my lovely wife, Missy.
Hey, guys. How you doing?
How's it going?
Doing good.
Good. How was the lake?
It was wonderful.
And y'all went, what'd y'all go for?
We went for my daughter's graduation and prom all in the same weekend and got to see her finally graduate. And then Sunday, we got to hear her sing on the worship team, and it was a great time with family.
Oh, that's awesome. Had a lot going on.
Yes, it was a busy weekend.
Man, that's what's up. Yeah, we missed y'all Sunday morning. It was weird. I was looking for y'all afterwards to get my hugs, but I was like, oh, yeah, they're gone. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, we're gone. And then, who do you got with you over there?
The other guest, the beautiful, the lovely, the amazing, smart, talented Jamie Simmons. How's it going, babe?
Hi.
How are you?
You're giving me too much credit.
He's got to outdo me, you know.
I know.
No, I'm just getting points where I can get them. Just gotta really try to get it.
Yeah.
How are you doing?
Good.
How was work?
Busy.
Busy as always. Man, she's like, I had to work late today.
Yep.
Acts like she actually does stuff. She just sits on
I'm
Facebook
very
all
busy.
day. So what we're going to do today, we're just going to get into some relationship problems, questions, discussions. It's going to be really fun getting to kind of get a good rounded discussion going. So let's get started with it.
Let's do it.
Yeah. So first I'm going to attack across the table, and I'm going to ask Missy, just straight off the jump, we're going to jump right in.
All right.
What is one of your major pet peeves with your husband?
Oh, Lordy. I would say my major pet peeve would be sometimes the communication thing is just not there quite yet.
With Jeremiah? No.
I know it's shocking. He talks a lot, but that would probably be just one of the pet peeves. And I can't even believe I even said there was one. So there you go.
I think there's always room to grow.
Yeah, always.
Right? Man.
She gets on to me for being a sweep it under the rug kind of guy.
Oh, yeah.
We don't need to talk about that.
Right.
But I think sometimes we do.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Do you ever let it get to you to just kind of where it builds and builds and then?
Well, it always goes somewhere, yes.
Oh, yeah.
It's always going to go somewhere.
All right, James. What is one of your major pet peeves? I know I'm perfect, so I don't know.
I only have one.
What in the world?
Because it doesn't have to be limited to one.
Oh, okay. My main one would be you always think you're right. I think it's not a shocker to everyone that knows you.
How you just gonna come on here and lie like that, just right off the jump? Okay, maybe. I think sometimes it might come off like that.
Maybe.
But the way I see it, which is the right way, I only speak up when I think I'm correct.
Mm-hmm. Which is 99.9% of the time.
See, what I think is if you just listen to me a little bit more, then things would just go that much easier.
Yeah. How about no?
No? Okay. Absolutely not. I'm not the brains of this operation. I could definitely say that.
We knew that.
Yeah. Everybody knows that. Like, where's your better half at? I'm like, yeah, she's at home. She's getting actual stuff done while I'm just stumbling around through life. Jeremiah?
Yes, sir.
Major pet peeve?
Major pet peeve.
Be easy now.
I would say probably over communication.
Shocker.
That is awesome. That's
No,
so funny.
I do tend to overtalk, though. Even now, I'm probably over talking, but whenever we go through something, I want to talk and talk and talk it till it's almost dead. And then I want to resurrect it and talk some more.
Yeah, she likes to re-kill the horse.
Bring it back to life. Let's chop it up again.
Yeah. Well, she's like, I can't go to sleep because we need to talk about this some more. And I said, I can't go to sleep because we're talking about this some more.
I just want
I just want to go to
That's so
sleep. I know, really, it's all pretty good. Like, we got our 1 year coming up, and it's been a great first year. I think we're gonna have a lot more to come too.
Oh yeah, yeah. You could definitely tell y'all are really, really in love with each other. Like
Absolutely.
when you see you out, y'all two are always together, always right side by side, and that's cool. We try to do the same thing, but we've been married for 14 years, so every now and then I think I get on her nerves to where she's like, get away from me.
never.
No.
Oh,
See, that's what I'm talking about. So my one major pet peeve with you would probably be, what would it be? Your addiction to Snapped. Like, it's a problem. It's a problem. Like, I think sometimes she just counts the seconds till I leave the room. She told me the other day, you need to get a hobby so I can watch Snapped. Like, oh man.
I just want the TV sometimes.
Like, I think in another life she would be like a detective, like, for real. Her and Lee are always watching these detective shows, and
I've never seen Snapped, so
no, it's a kind of one of those kind of a detective, like, did they do it, did they not do it type show. So
okay. As long as she's not in there like taking notes on how to get away with it.
yeah, right. That's what I'm like. What should I be worried?
This
right
is where
now?
they went wrong.
Yeah, that's right.
I can get away with it.
I know how they should have done it. Like, oh man.
That's just the first thing that pops up on like Netflix, Hulu.
Oh.
But I mean, I could watch First 48 or
Right.
what's the other one? How to Get Away with Murder.
Yeah.
Cops.
Yeah, Cops. Yeah, that's right. Yeah, man, we'll sit as a family and watch Cops for real. Yeah, that's so true. All right, so my next question for y'all, as a couple, where do you? We kind of talked about this kind of that first episode. Where do you see you as a family unit going forward in ministry? What do you think you see yourselves at, say in 10 years?
me? Okay. Well, what I feel like as a couple, what I see us as ministering to people that for me is women who have gone through either abuse or are battered, and then substance abuse, just because of the background that I'm in. And then as Jeremiah, as a couple, being able to minister to families, to husbands and spouses, and just speak life into them. And I like how God will always use what you've gone through to as your calling, because you can pour into somebody from experience. You can say, I've been there, and I know you can get through this, and here's some tools that helped me. And I just see that as a family unit, how we can do that for other people. It's just be that support system. So that's kind of where I see us as a family unit in ministry, and in 10 years now from now. I know we're both called. We're called as a couple, and we're called as individuals.
Yeah.
And so, our individual calling will be something a little bit different, but as a couple, it's just going to join us all that more. And I'm really excited about what God's going to do through us. But that would be my answer.
Yeah.
How are you, Jeremiah?
I agree totally. I think that we're different in so many ways, but it meshes well together. And I think that we're going to be able to minister to a lot of different people, and God's going to have great things in store for us as long as we stay obedient and stay in church and stay connected, keep that relationship hot with the Lord, and it's just kind of just do whatever He wants us to do. And that's what we're both just ready to do.
Oh yeah, and it's cool seeing and hearing y'all stories about how y'all kind of got together and how you kind of both went through the same thing or similar things, and that really brought y'all together and like you said, prepared you for maybe the ministry that's coming up and being able to speak into those people's lives. That's a really cool thing to see happen. I haven't known y'all for a long time, but being able to see that in both of you, that maybe you're called to do something individually, but then both of y'all kind of in the same field together, working to speak life into those people that maybe had addictions or things like that happen to them. That's cool to see.
What about y'all?
What do you? I know we've kind of talked about this for a long time, you know, because we've been together for what seems like forever and ever and ever. But I've known that I've been called into the ministry since I was about 12 or 13 years old, and I feel like God at the right time, at the perfect time, sent this amazing woman to be in my life, to be a big part of that, to not only be by my side as we go through ministry together, but also to as I fell and as I struggled, to help lift me up and to help bring me back, to push me to where God had me to be. What do you think?
You said it.
Oh gosh, that's it.
No, I think we were both in youth together, and we had a big youth group, and we were just always so close. And I think when you got called into ministry, I kind of always knew that I was going to be a part of it, no matter what we went through. And it was always like we geared to like the youth, like teenagers and what they went through and building a relationship with God. And I always felt like that was our main calling. No matter where God took us, he would always bring us back to that.
Yeah. And I think because of what we went through the same way, you know, we went through it together as you know, y'all might have went through it individually and it brought y'all together. We went through it together. You know, I kind of talked in one of our episodes about, you know, being so young and kind of on our own and having to lean on each other to get through, you know, a teen pregnancy. And it was something that made us stronger and that brought us together, and that you know, made us, I know even when we had problems, you know, in our relationship, I always knew that she would always be there for me. Whether we're together or not, I knew that I could always lean on her as a friend, as somebody I could go to, and that would lift me up and that would support me no matter what. And it was because of that struggle and that time that we went through when we, you know, at so young, we found out we're pregnant and having to fight through that together. It was something that God ordained. He let this falling away from him build us up together. You know, we fell flat together and we lifted each other up. So it was an awesome thing, and I'm just happy that God put you in my life when he did.
Yeah. Amen.
Yeah. Come on. All right, and what we're going to do right now, we're going to segue into what we're trying to do every week and do question block. Before we get into that, I want to say that we just want to thank everybody for listening to the podcast. As of right now, at the time of recording this, about 40% of our listeners aren't subscribed. So if y'all could do us the favor, be that cool, awesome, super duper person, and subscribe to the channel. That way you can stay up to date on the new episodes. I think we're catching up now to where we could do it. You know, I'm thinking Tuesday and Thursdays, dropping a new episode so we can record and get that scheduled to go and ready to go. So iTunes, Spotify, Google, any of the podcast apps, go look for us, search us up, subscribe, and stay tuned and ready for the new episodes. We're going to try to put at least 2 out every week. So if you guys could just go and do that, that'd be just super awesome. We love y'all. Thank you for listening. And what we're going to do right now, we're going to segue into the question block. So
I'm excited about this.
Yes. We have me and Jeremiah. See, we're sneaky. So we got something going on that we're pretty excited about. Uh-oh. So our first question comes in. Here we go.
Hi, Mom. This is Betty. I was wondering, how was it dealing with 4 bratty kids, while in ministry still? Also, what's for dinner? Because I'm kind of hungry and I'm going to come over soon. So, yeah. Love you. Bye.
Oh, goodness.
Yeah.
I love her. She is I'm just going to have to talk about her for a minute. She's my second oldest. She just graduated. That's who I went to go see, graduate high school. She is a wrestler, a women's wrestler, going to go to college for that, and she's pretty awesome. And I would love it if she would come over for dinner. It almost makes me cry.
I would love it if she would cook dinner.
Right.
That too.
Bring dinner,
something. She does. She cooks and...
She can do anything.
She's pretty amazing. So back to her question, what it was like to be in ministry with 4 kids. At the time that I was in ministry, the full time was, I had 3 kids. Max was a baby towards the end of my ministry. So I'll talk about the 3 kids. pretty much 4 kids, but it was difficult to be able to separate your time between being ministry and then raising children as well. And I can say I failed a lot of the times because of the way my personality is. When I was in ministry, I was all in. And it's all I could think about. It was all I could dream about. I mean, I was at the church all the time. The kids were at the church all the time. I have pictures of them up, and we had a balcony in our church, and their faces were just like, "Oh, are we here again?"
Right.
So it was difficult. But I always felt like they were a part of it. And there was good training time during that, and I hope they remember this. We would go in, and I was a youth pastor for a little while, and we would go in and pray over chairs, and I would have my kids do that. And just lay hands on it and say, there's somebody going to be there, and let's just pray over it. And then there was times where they were a part of the youth group, so they got to, have several moms at the same time and things like that. But I will say it was some of my favorite times as a mom is seeing my kids just at the church all the time, and all the people. They have grandmas all over the place, or second moms, or aunts and uncles that just poured into them. But again, I feel like I failed too at the same time, and I'm sorry, babies, because I know a lot of the times I left them at my mom and dad's, and I was at church, and they may not understand that. And now I want to do things differently. If I was to launch into full-time ministry, my kids would be my priority.
Yeah.
I love the church, and I love the people, and I love Jesus, but Jesus has called me to be a mama.
Yeah.
That's my number one priority. And so I just want to say to Bethany and Kaylee and Ben, I'm sorry that I failed you a lot of the times. And I wish I could do it all over again. But you guys rock. Yeah. You're amazing kids.
They're
and
awesome.
I am so blessed. I have my oldest that is in a junior in college and on her own, just bought a car. I mean, she is just excelling. She's killing it at life. So proud of her. Bethany, she's amazing. And then Benjamin, we'll just leave it there.
Ben.
No, just kidding. He's awesome too. Just typical teenage boy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, it was the best of time, but then, there were some struggles there too.
Yeah.
So I hope I answered her question. I don't know if I did, because I overtalk, I heard.
Jeremiah, what do you have to say about that?
Oh, I mean, I totally agree. She's got wonderful kids, and she does she may not think so, but she does a great job of the balancing act. She's all in ministry as far as I see, and since I've obviously been with her, she does a great job of balancing, ministry and mom. She's a great mom. She loves her kids, and they love her too. They give her a hard time though. My goodness,
Yeah.
her kids pick on her, but that's because they love her. I
Yeah,
try to tell her that,
right.
like they love you. That's why they do that.
They are rough.
They are.
They're rough.
They're brutal at times, but it's because they love mama.
Yeah.
It's obvious. So
Now, was it kind of difficult for you coming in as the stepdad to? I know. I hear a lot of people. It's kind of hard to find that perfect spot of friend, not overstepping, but still being a parent.
right, and that was difficult because I wanted her kids to like me, and I wanted to, I mean, it's a big role. You come in stepdad. I mean, a lot of people don't have a very good experience with it, but mine has been great. Once I finally decided to step up to the plate, and there was a few things in my life that had to cut out, and the kids seen it, so they were, at first, I'm going to say the first 6 months, it was a little rough because I made it rough. There were some, like I said, there's some things I was still, just needing to really surrender to the Lord. And once I did that, God has really, blessed the situation. It's gotten so much better, that I can see, there's a respect level there now. And, it's really good. I couldn't really ask for it to be any better right now.
Yeah.
I'm very happy with the way things
Yeah,
are.
and
I love her kids like they're my own,
Yeah, and I
they're
love
great
seeing
kids.
like you with Max or you with Ben. It's awesome to see that fatherly figure in their life be so close to him, like how Max loves you so much, and how seeing you and Ben play ball and stuff like that is cool. Again, to sit back and to watch that is awesome, man. It's really cool.
Yep.
I know
Yeah.
for me, I'm I'm sorry to cut in here,
No,
but
no, go
I
ahead.
am so blessed by it because I've seen, being in ministry, you see step families and how they are going through struggles and, kids fighting against the step parent or anything like that. And, like what he was saying, we are blessed. He has really stepped up to the plate, and my kids are blessed. Yeah. Like I can see I was just talking to my daughter, my oldest, and she is mama as well. She's she is just like their second mom. And she told me, she's like, Mom, I am so happy for you. And this is like a miracle right here. She's like, I'm so happy that Max doesn't have to grow up in the same home that I did. And that he has a different, and she's like, it just makes me so happy and I'm happy for you. And that to me, that just speaks so much of what Jeremiah has done and how much he has stepped up to the plate and been there for my children. And, he didn't have to go all in.
Yeah.
No one says he had to.
Yeah.
They have a father, but he has taken on that role because in a sense, they don't have a father right now. And that's a long story. But Jeremiah has he's just amazing. And I can't say that enough. And it's not just because we're newlyweds in a 1-year thing. I will never lose that he has gone above and beyond. Yeah. And I'm thankful to God because it's an answer to prayer.
Yeah. Oh yeah, it's a godsend at a time where you needed it, where your kids needed it. It really is. It's a godsend. Man, I know, especially I talk about Ben because he's a teenage boy. You need that fatherly figure. You need that person in your life that'll help you navigate through all the things going on, whether it be sports or girls or all these things. And that's awesome for you to come in, step in, almost from my seeing it almost flawlessly and very easily, just kind of stepping in and taking that role and running with it. And it's cool to see, just in the little time I've known y'all and the little time I got to spend with Ben, is seeing him grow. And you have a big part of that, but also you have a big part of that. You're growing and knowing, hey, I like you were talking earlier in the ministry, how you kind of messed up some things or you kind of put priorities out of order, but you're growing in that and knowing how to reprioritize is also something that can change the whole aspect of that. So Jeremiah's an awesome addition to that, but I think you growing and learning is also a huge aspect in that. So that's awesome, man.
And you bragged on me a lot there. Thank you so much. But the way you are with my daughter is amazing too. My 6-year-old Maya, she comes with us. She's going to be with us next weekend. And you're wonderful with my daughter too. My daughter loves you. So it's a good situation that we're in right now.
Oh yeah. Heck yeah, man. And next question is kind of coming from me, which is another question after this, but my question wants to go to my wife, which I don't know if there's an answer to it, but how, looking at you and looking at where you've came from and your background growing up, how do you explain or how can you kind of pinpoint the moment that changed things for you? You're such an amazing mother, such an amazing wife, such an amazing person coming from such a broken background. And I tell people this all the time. People kind of fall back on, well, I had it rough growing up. And it's like, well, my wife had it about as rough as you can get it growing up. And she's the most amazing woman I've ever met in my life. So what do you think it was that kind of changed things to where you're able to say, that's not how I'm going to be. I'm going to change things and I'm going to be completely different?
That's a tough question. I definitely remember not having the best family life. Parents would always fight. They would drink. We kind of ran from it to get away. I had amazing grandparents. They always took me to church, and I remember praying one time, and I was like, God, please just get me out of this situation, please. And I was like 6. And I just remember, like, my grandma just taking me in and taking me to church, and I would fall asleep under pews, and I just knew he was like, this life is not for you. And like, I could tell you every drug, alcohol, whatever there is about like like the back of my hand. And I just knew that life isn't for me. Like, I wanted to raise my kids different. I wanted to have a different marriage. I didn't want to see abuse every day like I did. It was just something I had to get away from. So I kind of like vowed it to myself and God, like, I will not live like that I will not live like that. Of course, I got into teenage years, we got pregnant, and just being a teenager, you be around crowds you're not supposed to be around, but I just knew I would always end up in church, living for God, just giving him my all, no matter what I was facing.
Yeah, and I know, I've kind of talked to your grandma about it, is she was your foundation, kind of like my grandmother was. I told her, thank you. It's because of you that this woman is who she is. Thank you for helping raise her. Thank you for showing her the path to take. Thank you for being there and loving her and speaking life into her, because without you, I don't know if she could have made it to who she is now. And if she wouldn't have made it to who she is now, I wouldn't have made it to who I am now. Because if it wasn't for this woman, I wouldn't be here now. So, I did. I told your grandma, I said, thank you. Thank you for helping raise the woman that changed my life.
Yeah, she's awesome.
Yeah, she is awesome. Love you, Grandma Barkley. I don't know if she's listening, because I don't know if she knows what podcast is. But she's so awesome. And then the final question is just kind of for the whole group. It comes from Brother Richard Randall. We're going to call him Bishop one of these days. Bishop Richard. His question was, do you find it harder to pray for your spouse than it is to pray with your spouse? So as y'all think about that, I've had a little bit of time to think about it, so I'll kind of break down what I believe he's trying to say is it's so much easier to pray together and to say, hey, let's pray together. But it's harder, especially for me, in those times where you're angry at the other person, or those pet peeves that we talked about start really getting on your nerves, and say, you know what, God, I'm not going to yell at them. I'm not going to blow up on them. I'm going to pray for them. I'm going to pray that you give me wisdom in this situation. You give me a clear head to be able to talk about something that we're arguing about. I know with me, first reaction is kind of like she said, I'm right, you're wrong. So I dive right on in, instead of taking a step back, going, God, how do I need to approach this? Instead of praying for my wife and saying, God, maybe I'm just seeing things wrong. Maybe I need to look through her eyes and see things a little differently, instead of just blowing up, or what I do is I shut down and I just don't speak, and that makes things worse. So do y'all find that difficult, praying for, actually going to battle in prayer for your spouse?
I guess for me, it's easy for me to pray for my wife. I can lay there. I know if she's struggling with something, or if if it's been a rough conversation that we've had or whatever, it's easy for me to just lay my hand over on her and begin to pray for her. But to actually, I think is what he's asking, is like to get together and like pray aloud, and as a couple, we're just not very good at that yet. I'm just being to be honest. Yeah. We're not, and but it seems to be easy for me to pray for her. Yeah. Because I pray for my wife every night. Yeah. But to pray together, you probably feel the same way there, right?
I disagree. A communication thing. No,
it's okay. I'm kidding.
Right. No, I feel like I think it I don't know. I agree with what Jeremiah is saying. I think it's easier to go away and like pray for him and be silent about it, that they don't even know about it. Like I can pray for him, he doesn't even know about it. But to go together and actually pray aloud is what you're saying. It's difficult just because it's another level of vulnerability. Like, here's what's going on, and I'm going to pray to the Lord about it. And so it's so needed.
Yeah.
It is so needed because it's the way that you can combat the enemy is if you come together and agree together with the power of prayer out loud. There's something about speaking against something. So it's so needed. But for some reason, I think the enemy gets in our mind that it can be embarrassing, or it can be that vulnerability, or it can be something that is just difficult as a couple. And it makes no sense because we can talk back and forth, no problem. But for some people, it's difficult to pray aloud.
Yeah.
And I don't understand why that is, to be honest with you. But to go back with what you were talking about, Michael, is I agree. It's hard when you're angry to pray.
Yeah.
Like, I want to, when I get mad, I fly off the handle. I'm going to be honest. I may seem like I'm a very quiet, timid girl, but get me mad, and I'm going to tell you all about it, and then I'm going to tell you again, and then I'm going to chase you out the door and tell you some more. And then if you go somewhere else, I'm just right there and up in your business going, this is what's making me mad right now. Yeah. And it's just who I am.
It blew my mind the first time I seen it.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Elaborate.
Really,
all right.
well, I mean, it's just because she's shy and quiet, and
unless I'm mad.
Unless she's mad. And I'm telling you, the first time I seen that side come out and that tenacity, I was absolutely blown away.
Now, this was before y'all were married? Or
No, this was after we were married.
Okay, awesome.
I kept that a secret.
Even better. I like that. Yeah.
You know how you get married and you think you know the person?
Yeah.
You don't until you get that wedding certificate, and then all is laid out there in there. This is who you really married.
Yeah.
I get angry.
Well, that's what's beautiful is you learn new things every day, something new about that other person, that person that you love. And I love that. I don't ever want to know everything about my wife. I want to learn new things every day. Oh, you like that? I never knew you liked that. That's cool. It's cool. I like that too. It's little things. It's the small things getting to learn every day about your wife or your husband. It's awesome. So that's kind of a big one, but it's cool to that after y'all got married.
Shame on you is basically what he just said there.
No, not at all. No.
No, but what I was gonna say is, when I get angry or whatever, what the Lord has really been dealing with me on is this 90 days of saying nothing but positive, and that goes with prayer too, because our spouse is the most important relationship besides Jesus. Your kids are just are right there up there with them, but that's who you're going to be with for the rest of your life. So you need to make sure you have that good bond with your spouse, because when the kids leave, guess who you're stuck with?
Yeah,
you're stuck with your spouse. So he's been really dealing with me with that 90 days of positivity, which goes along with prayer, because prayer is a positive thing. Yeah. And so that's one thing, because when I get mad, I say things that may not be the best of things. And so God's been dealing with me on that. So to answer Richard's question, yeah, it's struggling to pray together, but it's needed. It goes along with that 90 days of positivity. I challenge people to, before you go to bed, grab your partner's hand and pray for them, because they may be battling something that they're not even ready to tell you about. Yeah. Especially with the men. Yeah. Women, we tend to talk. Yeah. And we'll tell you, what we're struggling with, but men, they're going to hold it back. Yeah. And as a leader of the family, they need our prayers, women. Yeah. They need us to back them, to be that partner in prayer. And so that's challenging. I like that question.
Yeah. What do you think, Beth?
That's good. That was really good. I agree. It is hard to pray out loud. I'm not the most vocal speaker.
Shocker.
Unlike someone I know. But it is good. Like you said, we tend to get really mad and not know what to do. Your first instinct isn't going to be, I'm going to go pray for him or with him because I'm so mad. I'm so angry. I just don't want to talk to him. I want to shut down, or he wants to shut down. But I think praying with your spouse is always, whether it be at home, church, anywhere, public. But I always, you go to bed and you pray for your kids and your husband and your family, and that's always a given. but it is definitely hard to put the swords aside and be like, okay, let's pray about this.
Yeah.
That's probably my last thought. Like, that's horrible to say, because when I'm so mad, I'm just like, oh, like, I'm also like that. Like, I'm always pointing out, okay, well, this is what made me mad. I never hold my feelings back either. Like, I'm always like, this is how I feel. This is what, this is what you did. I don't ever say, like, this is what I did.
34 minutes, 50 seconds. Let's mark that.
Yeah. But yeah, that's really good. I like what you said.
Yep.
Especially the positivity. We all need that.
Yeah, it would just make the day so much better, just because sometimes you long for that without knowing it. You just want to hear somebody say, hey, you're doing a good job.
Yeah.
Thank you. That's all I want, through work and through stress and kids and everything else. You just want somebody to say, hey, you're doing a great job. You're awesome. Thank you. Oh, man, that feels so good. And my next question, I want this to lead into, do you find it hard to deal with, because y'all have a young one, Max, hard to deal with kids like during service? How do you balance that out? And this definitely goes to my wife, because she's usually the one having to wrangle the zoo in the corner while I'm running around. But do you find that difficult to kind of juggle that, ministry or even just regular service, even if you're not part of the service, but you're part of the service, you know what I mean? To juggle those kids or
For me, it was difficult. The church that we went to at the Lake of the Ozarks had childcare. So it was easy. Just put them in the nursery and you could enjoy the service. But then the second service or church that we went to, it did not have church. It did not have that type of care, which was good. I'm going to say that was good, because there's something about the family and learning, at a young age what going to church as a family is, and to hear my son singing, I'm going to see a victory or any of that, just out of the blue. He'll ride his bike and he's like, I'm going to see a victory. And I'm like, wow, that's awesome. But yeah, when we first started attending Revive, it was very difficult, and I was so frustrated. Just I couldn't worship. It was like pulling on me, going, Mom, 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 Mom. And I'm just like, I just want to talk to Jesus right now, son, and I did what I thought would be best, hand him the phone and let him do his thing. Yeah. And, that's good to a certain degree. At some point, they got to learn to sit still in service and kind of enjoy it. And so it's been a process for us of learning what it's like to sit still. I'll have them enjoy the worship service, and then maybe during the message I'll give them the phone or something like that, or something to do or to color or something like that. But at least he's soaking in something, But again, it was a process, because still he was used to getting up and running around. He's 5. Yeah. He's active. And so an hour of sitting still for a 5-year-old is difficult. But, I got to the place where I was like, if he's a little noisy, what does it really matter? Yeah. Mm-hmm. What does it matter? It's bothering me is the only person, really. If he's being disruptive whenever they're doing an altar call or something like that, that's different. But most people will say they're just glad that they have kids in church, and it's really just my mindset of saying, you know what, it's okay. He's 5, he's learning about Jesus, and he's getting some things in. But Sunday we were at church, and it was kind of cool, because I saw Max, and he was sitting there just listening. It was like we finally arrived. He is able to sit in a service, and it was okay. But it took us a year to get there. Yeah,
Progress.
but it was progress. And I'm not saying next week he'll be running the aisles or something like that. And I'll just say the Holy Spirit got a hold of him. Yeah. But no,
look at him running around. No, he's just had a lot of sugar this morning.
He really likes the tambourine.
Yeah, that's right. That's right.
It was a fight, just as any mom can relate. But it just me getting to that mindset of, you know what, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. He's in church and he's behaved, and there may be kids out there that may have behavioral issues. Let's just be glad that they're in church.
That's good. That's a good point. Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Yeah. Babe.
Our zoo,
Yes, our zoo. Yes, Simmons Zoo.
they're little angels. I struggled with Zeke and Zay both. Mom, I want this. Mom, I want that. In the middle of church. Mom, can I go up there with Dad? Zay running on the stage,
Yeah.
wanting to play drums, but I just let them do, like you said, let them do what they want. And I know I get frustrated because I'm like, I want to worship. Like, I just want to be in worship, in that mode. Like just enjoy this. Because I'm like, by the time I get to church and I've gotten all 3 kids ready, well, I mean, not really leave, but I'm like, hey, come on, move. Like, let's go. I'm exhausted. Like,
Amen.
I am like, like,
I hear that sigh.
I am tired. Like, and then church is just beginning. I'm like, okay, I can finally worship. And it's like, no, they're pulling on me and turning me this way and turning me that way. But I had to realize for me, like, I have to worship, not just in church. Like, just church is not just a worship setting. Like, I need to go home and worship. I need to be in my car worshiping on the way to work. Like, because
Good.
we have such a busy life. Like, it's like so hectic and it's everywhere. So I had to pick my place where to talk to God, where to worship, on the way to work. Like, even though when I take Zay to daycare, she's screaming and crying, but I'm just like, we're not going to do this today. We're just going to turn this worship music up and I'm going to pray and talk to God. Everything's going to be okay. So that was kind of the thing for me. With church, it's just like comes natural. Like, they're just out doing whatever. I'm just like, whatever. Like, I stop her from going on stage, but
Right?
I was just always taught,
Sometimes.
I was just always taught, like, sit there, be, you're in church, respect it, But like you said, it's like a mindset. Like, we're their mom. We're telling them, hey, be quiet, sit down. But, the other people, don't mind, But
I think people understand.
Right.
People around
Yeah.
you understand.
Right. And I think one of the things you said that was huge was you have to find a time throughout the week to get that worship in.
You
Because
do.
if you're relying just on Sunday morning
Yeah.
to be the only place that you get filled up or
Yeah.
get your worship on, then you're not going to be sustained throughout that week
No.
whatsoever. I mean, you got to find some time each day,
Yeah.
like whether that's on your
I
commute
would lose
to work.
my mind.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The commute to work is great. It just, even in your office, like I know my wife says a lot that she'll just shut her door
Yeah.
and crank up some praise and worship, and just when she's about to snap, she just puts some music on.
I love
and
my job. Just want to put that out there.
She has a great job. It's just there's times, you deal with people, man. Dealing with people that it's like anything else. You get frustrated and you need a little restart, and most of the time, a little praise and worship music and a little prayer gets you right out
Yeah.
of that.
Right. Yeah.
It
Well,
does.
and I know I wanted to ask you if this is kind of the case for you, because I know it's the case for me. Like, I'll catch myself like letting her do all this and like kind of focusing, kind of like you said earlier, is focusing on the ministry side of it. And I have to snap myself back in like, hey, she needs help with these kids. It's not just about making sure I get to service, making sure I'm helping with service, making sure I'm, doing all these things, but I need to help at home as well. Help her. Sometimes I'll take Bubby with me or, help get the clothes ready or whatever. But many times I have to catch myself like, hey, stop letting her do all this just because you're busy helping with the service. Do you ever find yourself kind of getting into that mode to where you kind of just let her do it?
Yeah, absolutely. I absolutely let her do it. I'm just gonna be real. I'm just gonna be real. I do.
I was
not.
like, you better be honest right now.
Oh no! I lay their clothes out for him. I wake Ben up. He's such an angel.
We're
You just
such
tap
morning
on him and he
people.
pops right up out of bed.
Ready
Ready to go to church. No, I really don't. I don't get in on that fight too much. I probably do. Now in service, sometimes, I'm kind of like Missy. You just kind of let them do their thing. They're in church, but there's a line there. You gotta kind of snap them back into focus. Because they get to picking at each other. They're 15 and 5. And so if they
Oh, yeah.
if they get to disrupting a little too much, you got to say something. But for the most part, I don't help that much. I'm just going to be real.
All right.
But maybe
First step is admitting it.
that'll change.
That's right. First step is admitting it. Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do. I'll be sitting there with praise and worship on, which is a great thing. But Sunday morning having praise and worship on, and she's running around ripping her hair out trying to get the kids ready. I'm like, wait, what am I doing?
Your hair.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah. It's exactly. Literally. This hair doesn't do this by itself. It just doesn't wake up. But yeah, and I have to catch myself wait a minute. God would not be happy at me right now. Me letting my wife run around and do all this while I'm on my butt sitting, listening to praise and worship or watching it. It's my first ministry has got to be my family. We talked about this last episode with Pastor Tim and how he kind of fell into that trap of giving everything he had to the church and to the people of the church, and they became his number one priority. He's that's backwards, and it took our first round of being youth pastors to realize that, hey, wait, I remember, I always tell the story, when she was pregnant and we had date night and we were in the restaurant parking lot and she started crying. And she's like, you're always gone. You're always at the church. And I remember from that moment, I said, God, I will never put ministry before my family again. That has got to be my top priority. And I still catch myself kind of getting back in that mode because I want to give everything I've got to the ministry, and it's whoa, hold up. I need to make sure my family is good first. That's got to be my top priority, or everything else crumbles. So I'm glad I'm not the only one that struggles.
You're not.
Good.
Maybe it's a guy thing.
I guess so.
Yeah.
We just don't understand.
That's exactly right. Let's vow to each other that we'll do better.
We'll do better.
Pinky
Holding
promise.
you to it.
Yeah.
That's right. Little pinky promise.
You'll definitely hear it from us.
Oh, yes.
So
Next
funny.
time we're on.
Yeah.
We'll let you know.
Yeah.
That's right. They'll give you the rundown.
Yeah.
Yep. Yeah, we plan on doing maybe 3 or 4. We might just keep going kind of with the couples episodes and get different perspectives and kind of just pick a bunch of different couples' brains. I think we're going to get Mike and Becky Vipperman on here the next episode and kind of get to talk to them. And, we talked to Mike about when he had the fall and how his perspective of what happened. So I really want to get Becky's perspective. I've heard it, just because I was there while it was all going on. But for the people that don't know the story, just know Mike's side of the story, to hear her perspective, because she was one of, if not the key factor in all of this, happening and how everything went down. Her faith and her standing strong on the word and her being able to say, you know what? No, we're not going to accept that. I don't care what the doctors say. We're not going to accept that. And her faith lifting Mike's up. The story in the Bible where the man was he couldn't walk and his friends lowered him down from the roof. And the Bible says that because of their faith, the man was healed. Not because of his faith, because of his friend's faith and getting him in there. And that's kind of what I think happened in that story. And it's going to be cool to hear kind of her version of it and her side of it. So that's going to be interesting. Look forward to that. That's going to be coming up. Make sure you subscribe and stay tuned for all new episodes. Like I said, we're going to try to do it a couple days a week. But thank you all for joining this. Y'all two lovely ladies have anything else to add?
Closing remarks. Go.
Well, it was fun while it lasted.
Sorry, that was really good. I like that. It was fun.
It's fun while it lasted. Yeah, we'll try to get them back on here pretty soon.
Pray for us because we're the wives of these two fine gentlemen.
I feel so bad for them when they say it like that.
I know. Is that conviction?
Maybe it might be. I'm so sorry. I'm sorry. I have the brain of a 12-year-old. It's just like a mouse on a wheel, but the wheel's broke and it's not going anywhere, and the mouse is getting frustrated.
That's the most truthful thing you've said all day.
Yeah, that's how my brain works. So sorry about that. But again, this has been the Almost Brothers podcast with Michael.
Jeremiah.
Love y'all.